Hey, sports bettors, if you're just getting started with oddsview.com, Oddsview is a betting tool that I highly recommend and endorse and certainly refer to my clients as they get set up to identify positive EV bets. When I go through the setup, when I go through the positive EV portion of that, we'll also take a quick look at the odds screen, show you some tips and tricks about that. These are two areas of Oddsview that you will spend a lot of time on, so let's take a look. All right, we're jumping right in again to Oddsview. Oddsview.com is a data-driven betting tool that helps you identify positive EV bets. And here on the left-hand side is the positive EV tab. And when you open that up, it's going to show you the current positive EV bets. And on the left-hand side here, you see the 2.1% edge, 1.8, things like that. What I really want to show you here is you have the option to do live positive EV bets and pre-match. We're going to jump into the pre-match. And what I find about this is you're going to set up the filters and do some things that's going to help you put the exact terms and the exact numbers in that you want for your hunting, for your betting portfolio. So if you want to do a higher percent than say 1.0, you certainly can enter that in. Maybe you have an odds range. I typically am about minus 150. You could go down to say plus, I don't know, plus 125, whatever the case. You could increase this up to minus say 175 if you chose to. I'm a little bit more limited about that. On the pre-match, I typically put in 90 seconds. I just want to have the minimum seconds available. And on this liquidity, basically this is a dollar amount that you would put in if, for example, if you had a betting exchange like SportTrade or NoVig or ProfitX, you want to have a minimum of a little bit of liquidity in that market. And so I just put kind of a random number here of the 150. Now the sportsbook, this is nice. There's about 25 sportsbooks you can select. You can choose all of them, or you can go through here and just uncheck the ones you might not want to have. If you want to scroll down and say eliminate some of the global or offshore sports books that you don't want, you can. And certainly if you have some repetitive numbers in the Canby books like Bet Rivers or Bally's or things like that, you can take those off. But you set up the sports books that you want, and then here you can put, do you want to must include the EV. So what I've done here is I usually have Pinnacle and BetOnline.ag as two of the musts. These two here, I definitely want to have a positive EV comparison and the math done there. So I've selected those two. You can select all of them. You can select none of them. But I definitely want to include those two. And then I want to have, say, a minimum of 3 sports books. You can put 3 or 4, sort of the minimum that you would include in your setup. You want to include the books that you have, things like that. This is the market. So I got basketball, baseball. Currently, I have obviously no football. I personally don't have any of the soccer bets going on. You can use the other sports here as well, and certainly boxing. You can check that or check that off, and then you can go on to the next one, which is markets. Now, markets is something like player prop bets. Give you an example. If you want to have all of the basketball player prop bets, there's 19 different markets, and in the drop down here, it's really cool. If you don't want the half markets, or you don't want player assists, maybe you don't want points and assists, you can take the ones out that you don't want. Same thing with baseball. You can do all or none. I have 8 that I selected earlier because I typically I'm doing more pitcher type setups, so I typically will exclude some of the hitting markets, but again, it's all up to you. And finally, the date range. If you want to do all the dates, all the times, you can. If you want to focus on the next 24 hours, you can. Certainly in football, you have longer periods of time between games, so you can do next 7 days. But again, you can choose whenever you want. Hit apply, and you can save that filter. So what it's doing now is it's showing us the positive EV bets that are currently available. So right now at NoVig, you have this Warriors minus 5.5 on this game. If you want to add it to your bet tracker, you can. You can hit the little plus button here, and it'll show you the bet size based on your Kelly criterion. You can hit save and go in and place that bet. The other thing you can do is you can click on this and open up the charts. So this is really cool. You can actually go here and see, yeah, NoVig's at plus 109 right now. The market across the board, the pricing, you can see they've actually dropped. So in this case, I'm not a big fan of going against the market. I'd rather see this pricing going this direction. So you can see here, if it's going to be going up, it's going to go from minus 109 to minus 113 to minus 117, minus 122. I'd rather see that go in the opposite direction. And so this is a bet that I definitely would probably leave alone. It's just not something I'm interested in, even though that's a good price. But I like to check the market direction and pricing, and this tool will allow you to do that in the multi-view settings. So that's how you would take a look at one wager, one bet, and you can move on to the next one. Let's just say you want to pop down to this next wager of pitcher strikeouts. Again, This is going to show you the pricing here at Novig at plus 113. You can see the chart's going to pop up here in a minute and compare that with the pricing and the direction of the market and the different sports books. You can go in here and add different sports books too. If you want to see some pricing from these guys into your charts, you can add these and go back and have that pop up. So using this tool in these areas is specifically what you're looking for in the positive EV tool. Again, if you set this down low around the 1%, you're going to get quite a few. If you have different adjustments in your Kelly criterion, you put those in here. This is really just talking about settings, settings and filters on the pre-match or the live, and really helping you out. So again, this is a really cool tool that you can adjust and have different settings and different tools for different times, different situations, and it's all right here in the filters. Now, next up, I want to talk about the odds screen. The odds screen here at Oddsview is amazing. Let's take a quick look at a couple of things I like to point out for some highlights that you can use as a tool to find some really good positive EV bets. So here at the odds screen, you have the different sports across the top here. We're currently obviously in baseball, and you are set at the pre-match. Now, this is something you can use as a tool at live betting. You get the live odds of different sports books for the different markets. But just real quick, you can see here this Nationals-Reds game on the money line. This is currently showing you the Washington Nationals money line price, and it has been going down. You can see here the direction and the price has gone up. Started up high here about the plus 138. It's getting to be a bigger and bigger dog. So what if we flip that? What if we actually put the Cincinnati Reds charts up? We just flip the charts from the Nationals to the Reds, and you can see here their pricing is going up, up, and up. So this is an indicator that the market pricing across the board, across this with Pinnacle, with Novig, with BetOnline, FanDuel, you can see the direction. Certainly Pinnacle here in the gray had started down about minus 158. They're currently about 171, so that's been about a 13-cent move. So clearly right now the market is going up. If you're going to wager on the Cincinnati Reds money line, you better get it in now, and you better get in at the best price in the market, which currently is about minus 175 at Bet Rivers. So that's how you use that tool. All the different markets are down here at the bottom. You can do first inning, you can do alternative markets, you can do pitcher props, you can do player props. All the markets, all the bets are here, and you can mess around with the different team markets, team totals, over-unders, things like that. If you want to change games, you can come over here. Let's just pop into this Padres-Pirates game. You can take a look at the charts here. Kind of flat, right? Kind of just across the board, nothing crazy as opposed to that Nationals-Reds game. Again, I would probably jump on the Reds pretty quick, although that minus 171's a little steeper price than I really want to pay on a money line full market game. I like to bet the first 5 inning wagers, so you can have the first 5 inning props here, first 5 innings markets, and you can open those up. You can come down here, you can say, all right, let's take a look at this Diamondbacks first 5 money line. It'll pull up the charts. Obviously not much action. I'm actually doing this video at about 10:20 a.m. Mountain Time, so you'll see a lot more action going on towards the afternoons and later in the day as more bets are coming in, more pricing is coming in. Here's another example, Rays, Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays. They're clearly the underdog here. The pricing is going the other way. Clearly the Yankees are seeing some price changes going up and up and up. Right now the current price is at about minus 222 at Novig. And then you have up to about 250 at DraftKings. But you can see again this direction. It's not flat, it's going up, and the prices are getting higher and higher. The prices are getting worse and worse. And I like to trust, Pinnacle. I like to trust Bookmaker. I like to trust some of the BetOnline folks. I like to trust, the odds making sports books that, they're moving the price for a reason. They're getting some action on those types of bets. You can certainly do this with the totals. You can go into the totals market and pull up the over-unders on the full game. It's all right here. It really just depends on how you want to assess and take a look at the particular game. So again, we'll do one more just for fun, just here at the very end, and show you what is going to be the Guardians, Toronto Blue Jays money line. Again, full game market. We'll take a look at this. And again, look at this. You can see on the timeline here, we've got all of a sudden a really sudden and sharp drop. This thing went big time down from Pinnacle at about plus 130 to plus 140, so a 10-cent move. Let's flip it around. That's on Cleveland. Let's see what the Toronto side's doing. We should see the inverse, right? So here we go. And you can see how this, in the last couple of minutes, has really spiked up. So something's going on where a lot of money's moving in on Toronto on this money line bet. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Certainly the price, originally was down here about the minus 141. It's up around minus 155. So you can see about a 15 cent move just very recently here. And that's something that if I were going to make a wager, I would follow the money. I would go with the Blue Jays on this money line bet. That's how you use the tool. Now, I know this is a really quick video on Oddsview, and I'm happy to help you on a one-on-one basis. Get yourself set up to use the tools, put a profit plan in place, and also identify other tools you can use to incorporate to support the data that you're seeing on Oddsview. So I showed you some examples of price direction and things like that will help you make decisions, but there's so much more to it in order to be a profitable sports bettor. Again, that's what I do on a one-on-one basis, is help teach, educate, and instruct you so you can make that difference in your life, whether it's a part-time income, full-time income, whatever the case. If you're interested, let me know down below. I've got the links to set up an appointment and talk to you about that. Also, there is a 35% off your first month using Oddsview. If you decide to get signed up, use the trial, use the free trial, check it out, take it for a spin. And again, if you have questions, let me know. I'm happy to help you through with any of those types of things going forward. Appreciate you stopping by. If you got a lot of good value out of this video, make sure you like and join the channel, share with a buddy or share with a friend that might need this information as well. Appreciate you stopping by.